Before starting, let me ask you all a simple question. How many of us have ever looked at someone and thought, why am I not like them? It could be marks, looks, confidence, success, or talent. If you have felt this, you are not weak. Good morning, everyone. I am Tarannum from Indus Community School. Let me share with you all a real story of Albert Einstein. One of the greatest scientists in history did not speak until the age of 4. His teachers once said that he was slow and unlikely to succeed. Imagine if Einstein had believed those opinions and compared himself with others. The world might have never known his genius. He later said that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb the tree, then it's going to spend all its life believing it's stupid. You may not be good at one thing, but better at 3 others. You cannot make everyone happy. What you can do is, however, make yourself happy, and that happens only when you stop measuring your abilities with someone else. Psychology explains this clearly through something called social comparison theory. It says that humans naturally compare themselves with others to understand their worth. But it also tells us that constant comparison lowers our self-esteem. In short, comparison is not the problem, but living inside it is the problem. According to me, you shouldn't be comparing yourself with others because you're quite different from them. They are not at all like you. They don't have your family, they don't have your temperament, they don't have your abilities, they don't have your talents. The only person that has those is you. And that is the reason why you should be comparing yourself to the person you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today. Everybody is a part of the crowd. Nobody is an individual. As long as we are part of the crowd, we'll never be a leader because we're trying to do what millions of other people are doing. And that's what happens when we start comparing ourselves. We start copying them. And that's where we lose all our abilities and lack confidence. Living in the shadows of others is like living a half-life. You're neither them nor yourself. Everyone loves technology, innovation, smartphones, new gadgets, and whatnot. We slowly start losing ourselves in the reels of technology, gleam, and glamour. I lost myself 3 years ago. Constantly watching reels, constantly living the life of others, deriving their own world and making it mine, I lost all my sense of living. They seemed to have it all, but I was left with nothing except self-doubt. Until one day, I randomly came across a quote which said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And that made me realize what I was doing in my life, living an imaginary world. It jolted me into my real lived world, where one day I sat alone, not lonely, trying to rebuild my self-worth and self-esteem in my own eyes. Most mornings, before the day has properly begun, we engage in a quiet ritual. We compare. We measure our still-forming thoughts, unfinished lives, and private insecurities against the curated outcomes of others. Before our feet touch the ground, we are already ranking ourselves on an invisible scoreboard, one we never agreed to, but relentlessly obey. Comparison has become the background noise of modern living. It slips into our consciousness through casual conversations, social media feeds, reunions, and even well-meaning questions about progress and achievement. Someone else's promotion feels like a comment on our competence. Someone else's relationship becomes a mirror for our loneliness. And someone else's success begins to look like proof that we're somehow behind. What makes comparison particularly destructive is not that it highlights our shortcomings, but that it alters our relationship with our own lives. Nothing tangible changes when we compare, yet everything internal does. The same achievement that once felt earned begins to feel inadequate. The same journey that once felt meaningful begins to feel misdirected. Comparison does not steal our accomplishments, it steals our peace. This tendency often reveals itself most starkly in social settings. Reunions, for instance, quickly transform from spaces of free connection into arenas of quiet competition. Conversations shift from shared memories to metrics of success, love, job, cities, and degrees. Within moments, lives are reduced to summaries. And when we respond to the inevitable question, "What are you doing now?" we often smile, while internally recalculating our worth. In all these moments, comparison acts as a lens that distorts rather than clarifies, shrinking our contentment into self-doubt. At the heart of this habit, there lies a dangerous assumption that life follows a universal timeline. We are subtly taught that there are correct ages for love, success, stability, and recognition. If someone else reaches these milestones before us, we assume we have failed. Yet life does not unfold as a linear race. Some people may bloom early and struggle later, while others wander for years before discovering clarity. Growth does not require a schedule, and fulfillment cannot be standardized. The modern world intensifies this illusion through carefully edited images of success. A single photograph, a smiling face, framed by achievement, often hides discarded attempts, failures, and fears. Yet we compare a reality, a real life, to someone else's polished presentation, forgetting that we're judging different versions of truth. In doing so, we allow comparison to distort not only our perception of others, but our understanding of ourselves. Beyond dissatisfaction, comparison reshapes our identity. It trains us to ask where we rank rather than who we are becoming. Instead of measuring growth internally, we seek external validation. Ambition quietly transforms into anxiety, and self-reflection gives way to self-surveillance. As Theodore Roosevelt famously observed, that comparison is the thief of joy. Yet it also steals something deeper, our sense of individuality. When we pursue success as it appears in someone else's life, we risk abandoning the values that once gave meaning to our own journey. The flaw in comparison becomes clear when we understand that not everyone is running the same race. Some lives resemble sprints, other marathons. Some may require pauses, detours, or complete rerouting. To measure one path against the other is to misunderstand both. To live well then requires stepping off the invisible scoreboard. It demands courage, the courage to live deliberately rather than competitively. When we release ourselves from constant measurement, we regain the ability to experience our life as they are, not as they appear in someone else's frame. We are not late, we are not behind, we are not missing life. We are living our own. Thank you.